All right, this one's a special one today. We are making Jesus Christ in preparation for Christmas. So I really hope you enjoy this one. We have got the robe over here. We've got the sash, the beard, the hair, the eyes. Everything is just working out perfect. I really hope you guys enjoy this. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Help out this channel. Let's get to 100k. Help Emmy and I build this business up so we can start getting DIY kits done as well for you, and we can make these plushies and start shipping them to you as well. That would be awesome. Other than that, we'll get straight into it. Let's go. For the materials, you are only going to need 4 colors. You've got your beige for the skin, you've got your darker brown for the hair, you've got your white for the robe, and you've also got red for the sash. That's it. Now that's 4-ply cotton yarn that I'm using, and I usually use it with a 1.9mm hook, as you can see here. But feel free to use with 4-ply cotton yarn anywhere between a 1.75 and a 3mm hook. All right, and if you have your own yarn and hook that you're normally used to, feel free to use that as well. This pattern is universal. You are definitely going to be needing a sewing or a leather needle. I would not recommend a tapestry needle. You can tell the difference because a leather needle and sewing needle has that smaller eye, but then also it has the sharper ends as well. Leather needle is like kind of the perfect one to weave in and out of those stitches. I love it. But if you have a sewing needle, that will work just as well. You will also need a pair of cutters, of course, and I would also recommend highly using some pins, especially when you're pinning the beard and the hair together. You will also need some 6 or 7mm black safety eyes. I would recommend 6 if you have it, just so you can get the eye width 2 stitch spaces between those eyes and have the hair coming between them. It's a little bit harder to do that with 7mm safety eyes to get the hair on the side, but it's still possible. And finally, you will also need one of the key ingredients, which is fiber filling, so that will fill up the body. All right, let us get straight into it. Okay, so let us begin with some beige colored yarn, or a little bit darker than, well, yeah, this is beige colored yarn. And then we're just going to make a magic ring. And if you don't know how to make a magic ring, feel free to check out my beginner crochet tutorial playlist, where I teach you all of these little techniques that you can learn and come back and be able to work any one of my tutorials. So from here, we're going to work 6 single crochet stitches inside this magic ring. And the way that I do my single crochet stitches is I have the yarn come underneath the hook first as I pull it through, and then the yarn comes over the top of the hook as I pull it through those 2 loops second. So we call this yarn under, yarn over, and we just keep doing that technique. You can also do yarn under to pull through, but I wouldn't recommend using yarn over and then yarn over again, just because those stitches look a little bit different, and I wouldn't recommend it for amigurumi. Also, keeping those stitches tight, it's easier to do with my method or the yarn under method, but again, it's completely up to you how you want to do that. 1 2 3 4 5, we've got 1 more to go. Here's number 6. And then from here, we will pull this magic ring yarn tail, closing that magic ring up, and then we come into the very first single crochet stitch, and I will weave this yarn tail over the hook as I do that. And you can finish off in a spiral, by the way. And when I say finish off, I just mean continue in a spiral. Just use a stitch marker in order to do that, and you may have to adjust where those arm stitches go, but I would recommend using the spiral technique. Otherwise, finish off with a single crochet stitch. Finish off with a slip stitch and chain 1. For me, what I'm going to do right here is I'm probably going to work in a spiral. I think this is one of the first tutorials that I have worked in a spiral, and I just think it's an easy one to work in a spiral, so I may as well do this one in a spiral. So use a stitch marker in this very first stitch space if you have one, or use like a piece of yarn thread or something that you can end up marking your stitches with. And from here, round number 2 is where you start by making an increase. Now, an increase just means you work 2 single crochet stitches in the same stitch space. So here's my second single crochet stitch in that same stitch space 1 and 2. So I've got my first increase here. There will be 6 increases in total. 1, here's the second single crochet stitch, or the second increase. In my third stitch, I've got a single crochet stitch coming back into the same stitch space, making the second single crochet stitch. That's my third increase. Here is my fourth increase, my fifth increase, 1 and 2, and finally my final 6th increase, 1 and 2. We are on to round 3 now. Again, move that stitch marker or use your piece of thread or whatever you have. For round number 3, you are doing the following: single crochet stitch first, followed by an increase 1 and 2, just like that. And I want you to repeat that a total of 6 times, single plus the increase 1 and 2. We've done 2 worth of that pattern so far. You have another 4 to go. You will have 18 stitches at the end of round number 3. Okay, and we are up to round number 4 now. Now for round number 4, it's a little bit different. We still have 18 stitches that we will crochet in the round, no increases, but we incorporate something called a spike bubble stitch. So I want you to start off by perhaps marking that first stitch space. So I'll show you how to do that in case you have no idea. This is probably a perfect time to do it. So I'm going to grab this little piece of yarn and I'm going to put it as close to the end of this stitch right here where I'm about to come into this stitch space to begin. And then I'll just work that first single crochet stitch just like that. And you can see my marker is right here and it's signaling that I've come in here. So now I'm just going to leave this and continue on with another 4 single crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3 and 4. So technically this is my 5th in total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then from here I'm going to work something called a spike bubble stitch. Now spike bubble stitch is where you wrap the yarn to incorporate the bubble portion, but the spike portion means that you come further below where you would normally enter. So you don't come here, but you're coming right here. So enter the hook there with your wrapped yarn, pull the yarn up and pull through 2 loops on the hook. That gives you 2 loops left on the hook, and I want you to repeat this. Wrap the yarn, come in the same stitch space and pull the yarn up and pull through 2. 3 loops on the hook, and we'll do it one more time. Wrap the yarn, come in the same stitch space, pull up the yarn and pull through 2. 4 loops left on the hook. Once you have 4 loops left on the hook, you want to pull the yarn through all 4 loops. And then you're going to continue on now with another 5 single crochet stitches. So here's my second, here's my third, here's my 4th, and here is my number 5. Let's just complete that properly. And I want you to pull this the right way around, so give it a little bit of a push. And then from here we have another spike bubble stitch to go. So I want you to wrap the yarn first, come down into, not here, but 1 round below that stitch space, and pull up the yarn and pull through 2. Repeat an additional 2 times, pull up the yarn, pull through 2, wrap the yarn, same stitch space, pull up the yarn, pull through 2, 4 loops left on the hook and pull through all 4 loops. And then you should have another 5, is it 5 or 6? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, it will be 6. 5 and 6. So you have 6 single crochet stitches left in that beige colored yarn, and then you have your little feet just like that. Beautiful. All right, now if you wanted to mark then the next stitch space, I just have this piece of yarn thread and I'm going to go right on top of it like that. Super easy. And then you just keep going back and forth if you'd like to. The yarn is not going to get stuck, nothing's going to happen, so this is fantastic. So I'm just going to put it over there, wrap it around. This is signaling my next first stitch in the 4th round. Now the 4th round will just be simple 18 single crochet stitches, but I want to teach you something first here, how to keep these stitches straight. As you pull the yarn through, you want this stitch or loop to be a little bit shorter than this one over here, but the main point is this next step right now. When you pull the yarn, you want to pull your hook as vertical and to the left if you're a right-handed crocheter as possible. So see how my hook is pointed vertical and beyond, like that. And that's how you keep those stitches as straight as possible. So look, straight and beyond as I pull through those 2 loops. I know it's a little bit of something you need to get used to and the muscle memory has to kick in, but I would recommend practicing this now for all your amigurumi projects so that you can get those straight and wonderfully aligned single crochet stitches. And this will work for half double crochet as well. Invisible decreases, whatever it may be. Keep those stitches straight, especially as you pull through on that last section before you complete the stitch. So there you go. That's just a little hint of how to keep those stitches straight. I didn't want to tell you down here because we had some extra things to go, but since this one was a simple round, I wanted to tell you there. So keep those stitches straight from here on out, and I'll try to remind you as often as possible as well. And we are up to the 18th stitch now in round number 5, and I just want to show you that in order to complete this stitch, we're going to change our yarn color to white. So grab your white colored yarn, leave a little bit of a yarn tail, it doesn't have to be too long because you will weave this in anyway, and pull this up through those 2 loops on the hook as you change. Simple as that. Now we don't need to worry about any connecting stitches or anything like that. We will, for round number 6, come in here, have these 2 yarn tails over the top of the hook to weave them in, and just work 18 single crochet stitches. This now here is my stitch number 1. You can mark this as well if you'd like. And we're just going to continue now with 18 single crochet stitches. Simple as that. Now for this very last stitch, completely up to you how you want to do this. If you want these to level out, I mean, it's going to be hidden anyway, so there's no real point, but some people like to do a spike stitch here. Sometimes in order to change that color, they'll do a slip stitch first and then just a regular single crochet stitch on the end. So it depends how you want to do that. There's multiple ways that you can kind of try and align these as best as possible. I'll just keep with maybe a spike stitch, but I could do a single crochet stitch as well. Now for round number 7, we are working in the back loops only, just those back loops, and you're going to work all the way around in those back loops, 18 single crochet stitches in total, and that's it. So here's my 3rd one, etc., all the way to 18. We'll come back together for round number 8. Finish that, and round number 8 will be 18 single crochet stitches. Completely normal, no back loops, no front loops, just 18 regular single crochet stitches. Keep those stitches as straight as possible as you go. Round number 9 as well will also be 18 single crochet stitches. I probably should have said that in the last section, but after this round we are going to do something different for round number 10. So continue round number 9 and then we'll get to round number 10 together. And this is what we are looking like after round number 9. Now for round number 10, it's going to be the following. We need to incorporate some spike bubble stitches for the hands here. So let us do that now. Let's start off with 1, 2, 3. Oops, let's do number 3 properly. 3, and here's number 4. And here we are going to change our yarn color to beige. So let us do that. Let's try not to get it all tangled up. So change your yarn color to beige at that 4th completion of the 4th single crochet stitch. And now from here we are going to incorporate that spike bubble stitch. So remember, we're wrapping the yarn. We're not coming here, but we're coming further down right here. Have that white yarn underneath or over the top of the hook so you can weave it in as you go. Pick up the yarn and pull through 2, and repeat another 2 times. Pull up the yarn, pull through 2. One more time. Wrap the yarn, pull up the yarn, try to pull it up, and pull through 2. Now sometimes this stitch gets a little bit loose, so if you are able to, it might be a bit hard now, but hopefully at the beginning you could give it a little bit of a tug before then. You might want to repeat if it is way too loose. So there we go. Now I should have said before we do that, we need to change our yarn color back to white. Back to white as you pull through all 4 loops on the hook. So let us do that now. So pulling through, pull, 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 and there we go. There's our first spike bubble stitch, just like that. Now we are going to continue now, and I want you to have the beige colored yarn over the top of the hook, at least for the first stitch space, to lock in that bubble stitch. So here's 1, 2, 3, keep those stitches straight, 4, 5, 6, and here's number 7, and we will change back to our beige colored yarn right at this point. So beige colored yarn pulled through, and now what we will do is the spike bubble stitch again. So you're not coming here, but you're coming further down, and the straighter these stitches are, the more aligned this is all going to be. If you're finding that you're very unaligned, I would just change the position of this second arm. That's all. 2, wrap the yarn, come in, pull up the yarn, pull through 2, and then change back to your white colored yarn and pull through all 4 loops on the hook to complete that. And then you should have 5, I do believe 5 single crochet stitches left. Have the beige colored yarn on over the hook for at least the first single crochet stitch to lock in that bubble stitch. Here's number 2, here's number 3, number 4, and yes, there are 5 total single crochet stitches. We are still working in white, so just having a look at that. There's your bubble stitches. Everything is perfectly aligned because our stitches are as straight as we could make them. All right, so for round number 11, we are doing the following. We need to start off with a single crochet stitch followed by an invisible decrease. Now, if you don't know how to work an invisible decrease, this is how it is. I'll show you right now. Enter your hook through the front loop of the next stitch space and then immediately into the next front loop stitch space as well. So you have 2 front loops on the hook and you're going to pull the yarn through those 2 front loops and then pull it through, keeping those stitches straight, those 2 loops on the hook, and that there is your invisible decrease. I want you to repeat that a total of 6 times. So single crochet stitch first, followed by invisible decrease, pulling through and pulling through. You've got another 4 of this pattern to go, so I'll let you guys do that, and then we'll get to that last decrease as well where we need to change the color. So here's my final decrease. I'm pulling the yarn through those 2 front loops, and then this is where I'm going to change my yarn color now back to our beige. So grab that beige, and it should already be right at the beginning. If not, you'll have to pull it around and weave in any yarn tail slack as you go. And so here we go. There is my invisible decrease all complete. That's the final stitch in round number 11, and now we're ready to begin round number 12. Now for round number 12, this is what you want to do. You want to start off in the back loops, and you're working actually in the back loops only for this entire section. So you'll start off with a single crochet stitch first, followed by back loop only, head in that back loop, increase 1, and you know what an increase is now, 2 single crochet stitches in the same stitch space, and I just want you to repeat that all the way. Single first, back loop only, increase, always using those back loops for round number 12, and continue that all the way around until you finish round number 12. Round number 12 is now complete. Now I didn't go in the back loop just for that last stitch. You don't have to, completely up to you. I just kind of tried to come here so I could keep this nice and even as we continue on now. So for round number 13, it's going to be fairly similar. You'll start off this time with 2 single crochet stitches, 1 and 2, followed by an increase, 1 and 2, just like that. So I want you to complete that another 5 times, 6 times in total. You have 24 stitches at the end of round number 13. Okay, so for rounds numbers 14, 15, 16, and 17, that's 4 rounds in total, you will just continue on with making 24 single crochet stitches. You're just completing single crochet stitches in every stitch space for the next 4 rounds. Keep an eye of where you started, use that stitch marker if you need to, and also keep these stitches as straight as possible, as you know, by keeping the hook as vertical and to the left as possible as well. Okay, so 4 rounds, and we'll come back at the end of round number 4 to begin round number 18, I do believe. Finish round number 17 there. I'm going to chop off my white colored yarn just because I don't need it anymore and it's just kind of getting in the way. So from here, we are going to do the following. Now, if you don't need that stitch marker, pull it away and use it elsewhere or whatever you like to do. Just basically keep an eye on those stitches, whatever you do. Now, we need to start decreasing. So we've completed the widest part of the head. For this next round, round number 18, we'll do the following: single crochet stitch, followed by another single crochet stitch, followed by a decrease, invisible decrease, front loop, pull the yarn through, pull the yarn through. And again, 2 single crochet stitches, stitches as straight as possible, followed by an invisible decrease. Repeat that another 4 times, 6 times in total, 18 stitches at the end of round number 18. And round number 19 is very similar. Now, if you want to add the eyes and the fiber filling at this point, fast forward and you'll see me do that. Otherwise, let us continue on like the rest of us with the following: single crochet stitch in round number 19, followed by invisible decrease. And then you just repeat that another 5 times, that same pattern, single, invisible decrease. You will have 12 stitches at the end of round number 19, and that's when we will start adding our fiber filling and the eyes. And round number 19 is finished there. I'm going to pull the yarn through just a little bit so that it doesn't unravel as I add my little eyes and the fiber filling going in. So let us do that now. So we have the eyes here between rounds 15 and rounds 16, in between those two, keeping it consistently between the arms and aligned with the feet or the legs. And then there's usually about like 2 stitch spaces between them. Now don't forget to add the ceiling portion of the eye as well, just to keep those secure. And then from here, what you're going to do is you're going to start adding fiber filling layer by layer. We keep it small layers by small layers. So here, for example, we're going to push this through all the way down to the bottom, and then we use a pair of yarn cutters to condense it all the way in there. And you'll just keep doing that layer by layer until you've reached the very top, and it's nicely condensed, compressed fiber filling that fills all of those gaps. We don't have it overflown or overfilled or overstuffed, but it's just enough, and it keeps it nice with the consistency as well. So not too hard, not too overstuffed, but also not where there is not enough either. Okay, so I'll let you guys do that at that fiber filling, and then we'll come back to complete that last round together. And we are nicely stuffed here at the top. We can kind of reposition those eyes if need be, and then we're just going to come in where we unraveled the yarn or took out our hook, and just insert the hook back in. Make sure it's in the right direction. And then from here, you can kind of push in the fiber filling so that you don't get it caught up in your next lot of stitches. And for the last round, we are going to make invisible decreases. We're going to make 5 in total. So there's number 1. Keep this flat. Here's number 2. There we go. Number 3, and we'll do this together just so we can see exactly what's happening. That's number 3 there. Here's number 4, front loop, pull the yarn through, and try and keep these stitches as tight as possible as well. It's a little bit more difficult. And how many was this now? Now I've got to check. I believe that was number 5. So then from there, we are coming into the very next stitch space, and then we are just going to make a slip stitch to finish off. So 5 invisible decreases plus a slip stitch to finish off, and then pull the yarn through that loop on the hook and leave yourselves with maybe a 15 centimeter yarn tail. Cut the yarn right there, pull out, and there we go. That is the body pretty much finished. Let's just complete this top part now. I've woven the yarn through the eye of the needle, and then from here we have 7 front loops to get through. 7 front loops of all those remaining stitch spaces. So the front loops only come through. So there's number 1. Here is number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5 as we get to it, number 6, and finally number 7. There we go, 7 front loops all done. And now we're going to pull this in a clockwise direction. If you're left-handed, it will be the opposite direction because you would have crocheted in the opposite way. And once you've pulled this, push in any bumps or something into the center, and then have your needle come through the center and come out where the head is. Give it a little bit of a pull to close that gap completely, and this is laid flat. Push in any bumps into the center as well, and keep pulling as you do that. Now from here, can you see these sort of stitches right here? And we've got this diagonal one that's a little bit dominant, comes across the top. That's where we want this to line up over. So there we go. We're coming there, and then we'll come out anywhere else, and we're going to pull this not too tight, but where it lays over the top. And now you can't even see that we have woven this in. And in the same way, I just want you to repeat this a good 5 times. So there's 1, that's my 2nd time. This one will be my 3rd, my 4th coming up, number 4. Here's number 5. You know what? I'll just do an extra one. Always do a little bit extra for good luck. There we go. So we've got the yarn tail. We're going to give this excess a little bit of a cut. We'll push in the top portion into the head to hide, and there we go. That is the end of the body. So we finished the body. Let's get on with the outfit, or the white sort of, what do you call this, robe? Let's call it a robe, and we'll have the skirt portion of that robe. All right, so for the skirt portion, you want to turn your plushie upside down. You want to come to the center front loop. You guys can see that center front loop right there. And you want to enter your hook into this. Then you want to grab some white colored yarn, and you're going to pull the white colored yarn through, just like that. From here, you will chain 1. And then you will come into that same front loop with this yarn tail over the top of the hook and work a single crochet stitch. You can actually work an increase inside this front loop. So let us work that increase. I'm doing another single crochet stitch inside that front loop, just like that. So there's my first increase. Then I want you to continue on. Let's count these single crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we've done 5 so far. We've woven in this yarn tail. We don't need to anymore. So we've done 5. Here's the 6th single crochet stitch. 6, 7, and 8. 8 single crochet stitches, followed by an increase right here. 1 and 2. So we've done 8 single crochet stitches. We had an increase first and an increase second. So let us work the remaining 8 single crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3 more to go, 6, 7, and here is number 8. Now we're going to continue on in a spiral here, no slip stitches and chain 1s. So here is the first stitch coming up of our next round, and we're going to begin like this. Start off with the single crochet stitch first, followed by a second single crochet stitch, a third, a fourth, and a fifth. And right here, the 6th one, it's completely up to you if you actually will do another single crochet stitch, and then the 7th one will be an increase. 1 and 2. Okay, continue on now. So we've done 6 single crochet stitches plus an increase, right? So let's continue on. 1, 2, 3 single crochet stitches, 4, here's number 5. Oops, we just want to correct this here, so I'll go back to the 4th. I forgot to pull in some yarn, so here's number 4 again, sorry. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and let's do 9, followed by an increase. 1 and 2. And now we'll just continue on with the remaining single crochet stitches. 2, and here's number 3. So finishing off with those 3 single crochet stitches, just like that. Okay, so now we have 2 more rounds to go, 2 to 3 more rounds to go, I should say, depending on where you'd like to finish. First of all, cut this. This is your yarn tail from before. It's already woven in, so you don't need to worry about that. So from here, we technically have 22 single crochet stitches in the round, right? So I want you to complete 2 rounds of 22 single crochet stitches. So actually, I did an extra 3. So I said 2, but I did 3 rounds of 22 stitches. And I'm in my 22nd stitch space of that 3rd round right there. And in the very next stitch space, what I'm going to do is just work a slip stitch to level it out and then pull the yarn through. I'll leave myself a little bit of a yarn tail as well. Doesn't have to be much because we are going to be weaving this in. So let us weave it in now quickly to finish off the skirt. So I've just come into the back here. This is where I finish. I've come into the back portion or the inner portion of the skirt, woven the needle through a few of these back sort of stitch spaces, and then I'm going to pull this until it levels out and I'm happy with the look. So there we go. Now, that's just one way of weaving this in. You could do back and forth, back and forth. You can continue weaving it in as many times as you'd like as well, just to make that as secure as possible. You could even come through this portion of the body once you've woven it in all the way at the back, come in this body and then weave it through the body as well if you wanted to. So there we go. We finished the robe lower section and we finished this first look of the body. So I hope you guys are enjoying this so far. Let us now get on to the hair. So use this brown colored yarn for the hair, and then all you're going to do is start off with a magic ring and then work 6 single crochet stitches inside this magic ring. 1, you've done this one before for the body. Here's number 3, 4, 5, and 6. Pull that yarn tail, close up that magic ring. You are going to finish each round with a slip stitch and chain 1 for the hair. So here, slip stitch, chain 1. Round 2 is now ready. Round 2 is going to be increases in every stitch space. There are 6 stitch spaces, so 6 increases in total, and then finish with a slip stitch and chain 1 to begin the next round, and we'll do that together. And round number 3 is going to be single crochet stitch first, followed by an increase 1 and 2. You will have, if you repeat that pattern total 6 times, you will have 18 stitches at the end of round number 3. Okay, and now from here we are going to start the hair strands. It's all going to be the same. So this is what you want to do. You want to start with, let's say, oh, I want to say 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 chains. 10 chains. And then you'll come into the second loop from the hook, work a slip stitch, followed by another 8 single crochet stitches. And then you keep working these single crochet stitches until you end in your final loop. Sorry, I slowed down there because I got stuck. Hold on, let me see where it is. Here's the loop. Coming here, I don't know how many I've done, but there should be 8 single crochet stitches. So this must be my 7th. And here, my lucky last one is number 8. Then what you'll do is you'll come into the second stitch of that third round and just make a slip stitch. That will just help have these a little bit more on the triangle, so on those diagonals, because that's what you kind of want. And then from here you'll work another 10 chains. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Slip stitch in the same way, followed by 8 single crochet stitches. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and here's number 8. And now from here on out, guys, you are going to be working the same thing for the remaining stitches in the round, of which you've completed 1, you skipped 1, you did a slip stitch in it, so that's 2, then you did your second hair strand, so we've got 3 stitch spaces that we use. There's 18 in the round, so you will have an additional 15 chain 10s to go all the way around. So I'm going to let you guys do that. 15 chain 10s. Now if your hair strands are too small, and I would measure them at this point, so have the center kind of up here and then see how far it gets down, and if this is considered too small for you, I would chain a little bit extra. So there's 1 for me, and then if I chain over here, that's 1 over here. So it's not too bad. I could probably have this a little bit longer if I wanted to. So I've only chained 10, right? So perhaps I might, from here on out, chain ooh, let's say either 12 or 13. It's completely up to you how you want to do this, because the tension and the size of the yarn can be different at all times. So I would recommend, let's just chain, let's keep a consistent number. From here on out, we've done these 2 chain 10s. We'll keep those consistent. But then from here on out, let's chain, let's chain 13. 13 is the lucky number. Oh, 12 or 13. Oh, guys, measure it yourselves, whatever you want, 12 or 13. And we have officially finished the hair. Now I chained 12 for the remaining hair strands, and I'm just going to pull the yarn through. So I made a slip stitch in the first stitch space, kind of over here, to finish it off. And then I'm just going to pull this and leave myself a good 40 centimeter yarn tail. Oh, my scissors are quite blunt. Whoopsie. And then that's it for the hair. Okay, so the hair is officially finished. Let's get on to the beard now. It is time for the beard. So leave yourselves about a 10 to 12 centimeter yarn tail and then make a slip knot. Just like that. From here, you are going to chain 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and number 12. From here, you are going to work a slip stitch in the second loop from the hook, followed by 2 single crochet stitches. 1, and here's number 2. Then you will continue with 2 half double crochet stitches, and this is how you make it. Wrap the yarn first, then come into the next loop, pull the yarn through. You've got 3 loops on the hook, pull the yarn through all 3 loops on the hook. That is a half double crochet stitch, and we'll do it again. Wrap the yarn, pull the yarn through, 3 loops on the hook, and pull through all 3 loops. From here in the center, we're going to work a double crochet stitch. So wrap the yarn in the same way as your half double crochet, pull the yarn through, 3 loops on your hook, pull through 2 of those loops, and then pull through the remaining 2 loops. Then you want to work another 2 half double crochet stitches, 1 and 2, followed by 2 single crochet stitches, 1 and 2, followed by finally a slip stitch to finish that first row. It's from here that we are going to continue on the other side of the chain. So we're going to chain 1 and then come into this very first side of that back, kind of like the backbone of those chains, and just work a single crochet stitch. Work an additional 2 single crochet stitches, and you can even weave that yarn tail in as you go. Actually, no, I would recommend not weaving it in. So I'm going to go back. I kind of want that to just stay where it is. So go back before the chain 1. So it's kind of like you're at the last slip stitch. We're going to leave this. Chain 1 if you haven't already done so. I'll just check if I have. Sometimes it can be a bit hard to tell. So there's my slip stitch. I chain 1 and I'm coming into the backbone, not weaving, and working 3 single crochet stitches. 1, 2, and 3. Just like that. From here, I'm going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I'm going to skip 5 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'll come over here and I'll work 2 single crochet stitches. And wherever I can find this last space, or you can even go into the very beginning, it really depends how you want to do this, like the very first single crochet stitch of the round, you can make a slip stitch in that. So let me just try and push this out so I can find it. So here it is right here. I need to insert my hook into that, and then I'm just working a slip stitch to finish that off, and then you'll pull the yarn through and leave yourselves about a good 15 to 20 centimeter yarn tail. You won't need that much, but We can't have, it's better to have more than less. Okay, so we are officially now finished the beard, and we can start sewing little things together now. So what I've done here is I've pinned the hair down. So this was my strand number 1, and this is my strand number 2, and it's come across the eyes. That's why you don't want the eyes too far apart. So it comes across the eyes. We pin it down sort of at the base of those eyes, and then you've pinned down the rest of those hair strands as well. Now if you have too many hair strands, you can kind of lay them on top of each other, just like I've done here. I've kind of got, I think, 3 that have a double pair, and that's how you'll kind of fix that up. So from here, we now get our large 40 centimeter piece of yarn tail, and I'm just going to start sewing these hair strands one by one. So I will remove a pin and then have my needle come out where the pin was. So here was my pin. I'm going to pull this, pull. First one needs to be pretty tight because you want to get rid of that. And then from here, you're not going to come right in the corner here. Instead, you're going to come up the side of that hair strand. Up the side of it towards the end, take out the pin, and then come around the other side. You can either go here or here depending on how much extra yarn of the hair strand you want left over, and then come into the same stitch space down here and pull up your next hair strand, and I'll just have the yarn needle come out where that hair strand was. Sorry, my words are a bit all over the place right now. And there we go. So that's the first hair strand, nicely secure. And we'll just do this over and over again. So same thing over here. We'll come up towards the side, leave a little bit left over. You don't need to come right at the end here. Just need a bit of definition or texture towards the base of the hair, giving that slight wave to it. Come in that same stitch space, pull out the next yarn needle, have the needle come here, pull through, all done. And you're just going to repeat this process for every single hair strand all the way around until we are complete with the hair strands. Once we finish the hair strands, we are going to come back together, and I'll show you what to do to secure we call it the crown of the head, which is this circle part here. But you can see here, I'm just sewing these strands down in the same way for each one. There's no special technique except that you always come up the side, little bit of your yarn, then come around the other side, on the other side, and then go straight back in to your stitch space. And that's gonna be it. And then you just keep going all the way around, guys. So I will see you after you've finished the 18th or 17th hair strand. And this last hair strand is what I am going through right now. And there we go. So now we just want to sew across the top of the head, and we're just going to go around the crown just in a couple of spaces. There's one. You don't want to pull this too tight either. And we could even just finish at the back, honestly. 2, should I sew this part? It's not absolutely necessary to do this, but it just helps secure everything even more in place. So the more sewing that you do, the more secure everything becomes. That's the only thing here. Okay, and we'll come across here and just finish at the back. So you can see I've just come through just like that, sewed everything nicely together, cut the excess yarn, push any leftovers inside the hair/head to finish, and there we go. There's the hair portion of Jesus Christ plushie. Now we have the beard to go, and we can do this with these 2 yarn tails. Use the longer yarn tail and start over here and just kind of get this point, a little bit of this point, and maybe even just partially 1 or 2 points on the beard just to secure that in place. So guys, I'm going to let you do that one because it's pretty self-explanatory, just going across a couple of stitches like I did over here, and then have these 2 yarn tails emerge anywhere but in the same stitch space, so you can tie them together in a double knot, cut and hide. I'll just show you quickly over here. So I'm coming up this one. I've started from here, came out here, and I've come up the top. I didn't want to show you everything, but maybe just this top portion will be a little bit better for you to see. And then I'm coming straight back into that same stitch space. So you can either kind of come around or work your way into another stitch space. Then after that, I'm just going to have it come over here, or I can keep going to secure this in place. So you can see now I've just come around that, and that's now secured. This should be secure as well. And this part too, because I've already sewn these in and out. And if you wanted to, you can also sew around here, around here. You can use the other yarn tail to do that, and we may just sew a tiny bit of that beard down, so I might just do that now. So you can see I'm coming out here. There's no perfect way to do this as well. Here we go. So I'm just going to come out here, and then I'll do something similar over this end as well, just to secure it even more in place. And I might just come around here. And then I'll just emerge at the back over here. It doesn't matter where I emerge, as long as the other yarn tail, this one, comes out in the same spot. There we go. I'll kind of push this together, make it look a little neater. And then, you know what? You don't really have to secure anything else. If you wanted to, you could do it with this yarn tail. Otherwise, just have those two yarn tails emerge in the same stitch space. So you can see I'm coming out here. And we're going to push this one through. Oh, there's a squirrel outside. Oh, I wish I could show you. Kind of cute. Okay. Sorry. So distracted. Okay, so come in here and pull through. Beautiful. Gorgeous. And then with these two, we are going to tie them in a double knot. Just like that. Kind of keep these as close together as we can. And then since that's in a double knot now, we are just going to chop the excess and push this inside the body to finish. All right, so that is the hair and beard nicely sewn on now. And all that's left to do is the red robe. So let's get into that now. Leave yourselves a little bit of a yarn tail, about 10-15 centimeters, and then make a slip knot. Now here at the bottom, you'll see how many chains you need to make. So I'll let you make all of those chains. So I've chained 30 in total, and then we are just going to pull the yarn. Leave yourselves again about another 15 centimeter yarn tail and cut. And there's our little chain robe. We didn't need to make a row one or anything like that, because this is the exact thickness for our body. And now you're just going to weave the end through your needle. So you want this robe coming across the right shoulder. So you imagine this is hanging like you. This would be your right shoulder. This would be your left. And you are going to have it come across the right shoulder. And then you're going to, so you'll sew this end towards the base of that skirt. So you can see that base there where we attach the skirt. That's where I want you to have your yarn tail enter into. You don't need to pull that super tight. Then make sure this is the right way around, and we are going to have to weave it through some of these hair strands, just because those hair strands were stuck there, because we sewed those hair strands on. So if you wanted to sew on the robe first, feel free to do so, but we didn't do that, so we're gonna have to work around it, which is not too hard. Okay, so remember this is coming across that shoulder, so we've got to get past these few hair strands. I'm weaving my yarn needle behind those hair strands, just a few of them. Get that through. Have this the right way around as well. Make sure it's always the right way around. And then it's coming back over here, down across the side, and then we're just going to attach it down here. Super easy. Have those two yarn tails emerge in the same stitch space. Pull, 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 pull. Beautiful red sash that's going over the top of the shoulders there. Give it a little bit of twist so it aligns everything just perfectly. Okay, and then you'll just tie these two yarn tail ends together in a double knot. Usually I'd say sew up here, but because it's gone through the back of those hair strands, it doesn't need to. So you'll just have to be aware of that. If it feels a little bit loose, sew it in place with your yarn tail. but at the same time you'll just have everything come in the same yarn stitch space, tie in a double knot, and to finish this all off, push this back through the body to hide in place, and give a little push and pull from inside those stitches as well. And there we go, guys. That is it. Jesus is officially finished. Now, if you did want to add a keychain, you would do it to the very top of this head. If you wanted to add a yarn chain, I would recommend adding it. So here's the magic ring. Find the center space outside that magic ring and just work your hook through those 2 stitches, and then pull the yarn through, chain however many you need, and then come back on the other side, so from this direction this time, to make a slip stitch. And then you will tie those 2 yarn tails together, weave them inside the head, come out at the same stitch space, tie them again in a double knot, and then cut and hide. Or you just add your little keychain or whatever at the top here with a pair of pliers. And that's how easy this plush is. I think it turned out absolutely perfect. Now, if you did want to go check out my bigger plush where you've actually got the arms attached and it just is a little bit bigger, go check out that tutorial video. I've linked that one over here as well. So many videos that I linked here, but all in all, these are relatively easy to do. This one's a little bit easier than this one because you do have additional with the arms, and then everything's just a little bit longer as well, but depends which one you like better. And these could be great little earrings. You can see here I've got a micro crochet earring that you can make from the same pattern of the big one. You could do exactly the same for the smaller one, but guys, this is a fantastic pattern. I really hope you enjoyed all of this. Please do subscribe to this channel, show your support, donate, help me continue growing with Emmy. She's in the Philippines at the moment. I'm trying to get her to come to Australia. Guys, we need all the support that we can, so help out where you can, please. And thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Hope you enjoyed that one. Thanks, guys. Bye.